Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. In our top stories in South Africa, city volunteers are carrying out this year's first winter aid distribution to help 280 students. We go back to Qing'ai Elementary School in Nantou, Taiwan to meet 3 graduates whose lives have been transformed by the school's music program. And in our feature report on Taiwan Sunset's trades, we meet traditional gold bottle maker Gong Yifang in Kaohsiung. We start today's program in South Africa, where city volunteers are holding winter distributions for underprivileged children. On their first stop at Primrose Primary School in Johannesburg, 225 students received relief packs that included rice, clothes and blankets.
Volunteers form a human chain to transport items from a truck to inside the Primrose Primary School's gymnasium. Siji is here to distribute goods to 225 selected low-income families before the students begin their winter break.
Most of the students walk to school. They live in an impoverished area where there is no water or electricity. Some of the parents have jobs and some are temporary workers, but basically they are all low-income families.
This is South Africa Siji volunteers' first winter distribution this year. The sun may be bright, but the temperatures are only in single digits. To help these students pass the winter, volunteers not only distribute thick clothes and daily necessities, but also prepare an eco-friendly blanket.
I
want to say thank you, Chintua. It's very good that you're helping others, and I just want to thank all my classmates for supporting us, and also the Chinese people. Thank you very much.
The basic maize meal, rice, sugar and oil are basic necessities in any household. That alone is more than enough in terms of sustenance. And also the blanket, it's cold. And do remember then they're not living in houses with bricks, in shacks made out of metal, so that will serve its purpose wonderfully.
Although the parents and students do not understand the song's meaning, they still follow along with the movements. Siji volunteers also use this opportunity to introduce recycling.
People in the school, we can start separate all the bottles, cans, paper and cardboard. Then we can transfer all of these to blanket, okay, or gold to help others. So we can transfer everybody's effort to love others.
Carrying home the distributed goods and the 10-kilo bag of rice, the students' happy faces are the volunteers' greatest rewards.
Also carrying out winter distributions are volunteers in Argentina's Buenos Aires province. With help from local volunteers, 137 low-income families in the city of Quilmes received relief items to help them get through the cold winter.
On this sunny day, Quilmes city of Buenos Aires province, Argentina, is warm with love. There are not many Argentina Siji volunteers, but with the help of local volunteers, distribution prep work was completed on schedule.
We are at Siji from Taiwan. Winter is here, so we prepared some food basics, blankets and second-hand clothing for you.
Understanding that these items are from Siji volunteers worldwide, 137 families prayed for blessings and many residents donated to a coin bank, sending their love forward. The winter distribution items include not only food essentials like flour and sugar, but also blankets, second-hand clothing, and even sneakers for students. The actual distribution process was handled entirely by local volunteers.
I was looking forward to coming here this morning, so I woke up at 5 a.m. I'm happy that I'm able to work side by side with my friends and city volunteers to assist low-income families.
This distribution was wonderful. Everyone pitched in to help, and we worked together well. Everything happened according to plan. It was just perfect. I am so grateful.
Residents are thankful to Tzu Chi for the distribution of goods. Although the weather may be cold, the volunteers' helping hand warmed the hearts of everyone.
To celebrate the 66th anniversary of the police force, the Indonesia Tzu Chi chapter was invited to hold a joint free health event. In a 3-day clinic, 44 patients were treated for their eye problems.
With the support from her nephew and volunteers, 72-year-old Nancy Kerniati, who suffers from cataracts, arrives at the free health clinic. The volunteers kindly measure her blood pressure and wash her feet. She has been waiting for 10 years and now can finally undergo surgery free of charge.
Ma lives with us, but she hardly asks for help. She can barely see with her eyes, and I feel bad about it. However, I don't have enough money for her to undergo surgery.
Back in 2009, Nancy Kerniati sought for help from Tzu Chi. Unfortunately, back then, she was not qualified to undergo surgery. Now in better health, the senior can finally have her eyes treated.
Today, I am very happy. Thank you, Tzu Chi, for treating my eyes. I can finally see again. I don't have to ask for help anymore because I can finish all the house chores by myself.
To celebrate the 66th anniversary of the Indonesian police force, Indonesia Tzu Chi chapter was invited to hold a free clinic. The free eye clinic also marked the 85th time the Indonesia Tzu Chi chapter held such an event.
We've been holding regular free clinics for needy residents. This time, we focused on providing ophthalmology. Tzu Chi's free eye clinic has benefited many cataract patients.
To make the day's event a success, during the free clinic, volunteers and medical staff all worked hand in hand. I hope in the future the beneficiaries will pass on the love and help those in greater need.
Thanks to the free eye clinic, around 50 patients were treated. With their vision back to normal, they can finally see the bright future ahead of them.
Next, we go back to Nantou's Qing'ai Elementary School in Taiwan to take a closer look at how the music program is broadening the scope of the students' lives. Of the 8 graduates this year, 6 have been accepted by the special music program at Taotuan Junior High. We find out why the children here are so passionate about learning music.
The school year is about to end. A 6th grader at Nantou's Qing'ai Elementary School, Cai Junling, will soon graduate.
This boy always acts as if nothing is bothering him. He's the stereotypical type A.
Junling is the center of attention at the school. He is the drum team captain who always watches over his younger classmate. He's also the lead violinist and teaches anyone who can't read music scores.
Whatever you tell him to learn, he'll do it. Once I gave him a saxophone, and when the instructor was about to give him a lesson, he said he needed to practice a bit, so he just sat in a corner for nearly an hour, and he suddenly turned around and said he got it.
Teacher Chen Pei-wen nicknamed Junling as SpongeBob due to their similarity in characters. Of course, Junling has buddies just like the cartoon character.
Patrick would be Shi Zhixiang. Not only is he similar in size, but in personality as well. He's just so carefree like Patrick and follows his own instincts. Squidward would be our Hong Zifeng. He's such such a scatterbrain. You always have to remind him what he has to do now, or if he is being too loud. Before a test, perhaps he is stuck on one little part. He will then practice hard for it.
Though the three boys are different in personality, they are good friends.
Why is it that I can't hear what Shi Zixiang is playing? He is too quiet. Can you make out what he is playing?
They are always busy teasing each other. They don't think their friendship is that special. Because the boys do not want to be apart, they're all enrolled in this music class.
We have such high expectations for these three boys. The three of them compete in a healthy way.
They go to school together and grow up together. They also go home together. This indigenous settlement where Junling is from is full of single parents' families just like his own, and thus Junling is mature for his age. Usually Junling's dad is busy with work and has little time for him. However, his dad will always try to make time to attend his competitions or performances.
I tell my son that if he manages to become a music major, then he will have to do his best and practice often. If he can become a music teacher, then I will be very excited.
Junling's father is very proud of him, but for Junling, it was never about winning. Though mature, Junling is still shy and green. The three buddies are each competent musicians with their own dreams.
My dream is to become a music teacher, because that way I can share my music with others.
Squidward wants to become a renowned musician like the famed violinist Lin Caoliang.
I would maybe play the violin with lots of people, and even go abroad. I might take Shi Zixiang with me, that is, if he has time. Maybe he could play the piano for me, but we will have to see if he can play.
Though boys will be boys, they have far exceeded their teachers' expectations.
I have a teacher who plays with the National Taiwan Symphony Orchestra. I have learned a lot from him, so I would like to one day join the orchestra as well. I will also come back here to help Miss Chen, perhaps take some of the troublemakers off her hands.
Staying true to their dreams, the boys will one day become big trees for others to take refuge under.
Staying in Taiwan but moving to Yunlin County, we meet Zhang Huiling and her two siblings who are raised by their grandparents. 5 years ago, Tzu took the family under its wing, and the children have since been inspired to change for the better. Let's take a look.
After school, 2nd grader Xiaoxing, 4th grader Huiling, and 6th grader Yichen have a few things to carry home. Not long after, the three of them arrive home. Handing over the takeaway food from school, the youngsters then set up their desk and chairs in the living room.
You got 94%. Well done. You must also achieve this mark in your monthly exam. Don't write your lines so far apart, or else it looks weird.
With their mother working away from home, the three children are living with their grandparents.
I brought a few aunties with me today. Let's clean up your home, all right?
5 12 years ago, Tzu Chi Volunteers took this family under its wings.
插那边，竹笔插这边。
好。
好，我们一起合作。
好，师姑帮我小指头。
Auntie, can you get my finger in there?
Over the years, the three children have been surrounded by Tzu Chi's love, which has inspired them to change.
我会很想妈妈。
Everyone miss mom very much, and these aunties are just like my mom. They come to visit us often and care for us.
我们三个以前做过了。
Before, when the three of us argued, we would start hitting each other. For example, when we didn't divide the biscuits and candies well, we started fighting. Since we joined the children's development class, we rarely fight now.
自从上了那个儿童成长班，我们就比较少打了。
我们每次来的时候哈。
Every time we come, they will come to give us a hug. Their mom isn't around, so we treat them like our own children.
自己的子女一样在照顾。
仙草哎，我最爱吃的呢。妈没好哦，阿嬷，阿嬷来。师姑，哥定了，师姑啦。
感謝在10歲啊，4年哦，來。
I am grateful to these brothers and sisters for taking care of us so well. I feel relieved knowing that these kids will walk the right path and not do wrong things.
Before leaving, Hui Ling asked the Tzu Chi aunties to close their eyes, as she has a surprise for everyone.
I want to help those in greater need. Yes, I want to donate it to Tzu Chi.
Thank you. You are so wonderful.
When I grow up, I want to be a Tzu Chi volunteer too. I will continue to save up to help others.
With Tzu Chi by their side, these children are on their way to a bright future.
In Selangor, Malaysia, 72-year-old Xiao Guansong, who was a carpenter, lost focus in life after retirement. Luckily, it was then he met Tzu Chi and became a devoted recycling volunteer.
On a hot summer day, many seniors sit under the trees at a local basketball court in Ambang New Village. Every day, 72-year-old Xiao Guansong takes a 2 to 3 hour nap in the shade of the trees.
Every afternoon after tea time, I will sit under the tree for about an hour. I will go back home to watch about an hour of TV before returning here.
Xiao Guansong lost his focus in life after retirement. Luckily, after a friend's referral, he started to volunteer at the Tzu Chi recycling point in Ambang New Village.
He told me that he has nothing to do, so I encouraged him to volunteer at the recycling station.
I asked him what I should call him. He told me that we can call him Lanzai, which means gangster. I thought to myself, how come he doesn't receive any respect from others? We started to call him Brother Xiao after he became a recycling volunteer. Now with everyone calling him Brother Xiao, I think he's gained some self-confidence.
If I volunteer at the environmental station, I will be in good spirits. Why? Because I have something to focus on, and if I don't volunteer, I will just sleep all day long.
Recently, Xiao Guansong, who was a carpenter, joined the construction work of the recycling station in Ambang New Village. Xiao also took the chance to invite his friends to join in.
I think volunteering at the recycling station is very meaningful. We are contributing to our society.
He makes a living collecting recyclables. However, he has been spending most of his time helping with the construction of the recycling point. Therefore, he has forgotten that he needs to collect some materials for himself.
Now, as a recycling volunteer, Xiao says that not only has he gained new purpose in life, but most importantly, he's contributing his part to make our planet a cleaner place.
Taiwanese folklore, bottle gourds have traditionally been seen as magical instruments to control and capture evil spirits. One of Taiwan's top masters in bottle gourd arts, Gong Yifang, is presently living and working in Kaohsiung. Gong, who has been in the trade for 30 years, has also come up with several new and exciting ways to turn ordinary gold into masterpieces that defies the imagination.
This clown-shaped music box, playable yueqin that transport people back in time, and this colorful kaleidoscope. What do they have in common? They are all made from the common bottle gourd.
The gourd is really interesting. All other vegetables of the melon family will go rotten when they are overly ripe. Only the gourd, when it is ripe, will develop a wood-like shell. So in the history of civilization, it has been used as a container and given many uses.
Arriving at Gong Yifang's workshop in Kaohsiung's Sanling and Fengshan, one sees a vast array of musical instruments, decorative lamps, different types of hats and visors, Russian dolls, and even lifelike images of the 8 immortals, all made from the bottle gourd.
These human figures were made by putting the gourd into a mold and having it grow into the shape of the mold. The success rate of this kind of work is very low. Sometimes they will go rotten, or sometimes the friction will cause damage to the gourd, or sometimes they will not grow big enough to fill out the mold.
Growing up in a poor family, even when small, Gong Yifang loved to listen to folk stories and showed a talent for painting and sculpture. Although his hobby was never supported by his father, he persisted in his studies. After leaving the army, he worked on his uncle's farm, and it was there that he was able to realize his dreams and eventually go on to become the foremost bottle gourd sculptor in Taiwan.
In the stories of immortals, the gourd was always used to capture evil spirits. For example, the Monkey King used them to capture spirits. It was something that I became very interested in. So when I was working on my uncle's farm, when the gourds were harvested, I would help with the work.
Overcoming the gourd's natural fragileness and shape limitations, over the past 30 years, Gong Yifang, by trial and error, has tested embossing, relief, adhesive, and branding techniques on his gourds. He has even gone as far as to develop a method for tying the gourds into knots.
This is a special variety. It needs gourds with long heads in order to be able to wrap them. In growing them, when trying to wrap the head, I probably broke several hundred. This one was gnawed at by insects.
Growing his own gourd, Gong Yifang understands the farmer's hardship. Although the gourds might not be perfect, with traces left by insects, using his considerable skill, he turns imperfections into art.
In its design, I carved it to look like a lotus leaf. Here there's a small bird. Although its color is at times dark and other times light, I used the original discolorations and markings on the gourd to guide me where I paint and carve.
Gong Yifang's workshop has been officially recognized by the government, and each piece produced here is unique. Despite his past accomplishments, Gong is still relentless in the search for excellence, in the hope that the art of crafting gourds will one day be an academically recognized art form, thus ensuring its heritage will continue on.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Pingdong, Taiwan recently made vegetarian zongzi and later delivered them to the local homeless shelter. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.